Hello, so my name is Kritika Kandoi and I'm from the XIM BM batch of 22-24, and I had studied MBA in Business Management at XIMB, and it was a six-term course for two-year residential program, and I feel that it did shape my personality in many ways. So the journey I had in my first year at XIMB was really helpful in my internship. So some courses like marketing research, they showed me how to approach any problem, like how I can identify a problem statement, how I can, collect data and interpret the data. Basically, and this also helped me in my internship because it was similar to what I did in my internship. And working in the marketing committee, so I was in Maxim. So in that committee, it really pushed me to go out of my comfort zone and have new experiences. And I think this was one of the reasons I was able to give my best in my internship. So my journey in Perfetti Van Melle started with a week-long induction program where we were given opportunities to interact with each other and had meetings with director of every domain and also a factory tour to understand the company better, the company, the ideology, their working culture. I worked in the sales department of Mumbai branch. We had the highest number of SAS outlets, that is standalone stores. So my project was to recommend steps to increase the billing frequency and the lines built in those particular outlets. So I had to interact with our retailers, distributors, salesmen to understand their viewpoint. Every small action by a customer is getting noticed by the retailer and the salesman to improve their offering. And at the end, I had given 5 recommendations for each gap I identified. So during when I got my internship, I was not very keen in the FMCG industry. But after my internship, I got so much more interested in that FMCG domain and the sales and distribution management program course in exam. Also interested me, drew my interest in marketing also. So I think yes, it did increase my interest in marketing, and I feel more confident after my experience.
Um, Hello, my name is Avra and I hail from Kolkata. I was born and brought up in Kolkata. I did my undergrads and masters in geology, post which I was working in Vedanta, Hindustan Zinc Limited, as a mine geologist. Post which I joined XIMB in 2022 and I'm a pass out of 2024. I did my internship in Emami Limited in the summer of 2023, and I am placed in Emami itself. In-class lessons and on-field experience is a completely different ballgame. Something that I realized when I went to work for Emami for the 2 months in 2023. It's a very different ballgame. Probably 20% of your in-class learnings you'll get to apply or see indirectly on field. My internship was in sales IT. So when I went on ground, I realized that sales as a function right now is not limited to uh, just selling the product that your company is making. It has much more to it. It has a significant portion of sales IT in it as to how the order is taken and how your products move through the entire supply chain, right from the manufacturing unit to the end consumer, which I realized on ground. And this is something that you won't get in the books or in the classroom. And even if you do, you'll just get maybe 10% of the ground reality. Just let me tell you, sales is all about market visits. Sales is all about working on ground. My typical work day would look like I would go out on the market with the salesperson and the ASM. ASM refers to the area sales manager. Area sales manager is someone who looks after the area sales officers. So the hierarchy in most FMCG companies, including Emami, where I was working, is ASM. ASM looks after a big city or a town, under which there will be around 6 to 7 area sales officers who would look into particular localities, and under each area sales officer there would be around say 10 or 12 salesmen who would go physically to these shops and take the orders from these retail shops. So I would accompany the area sales officer or the salesperson and visit the market and the retail shops along with him and see how order taking was done. So since I was into sales IT, my sales project was not so many targets or numbers as such, but it was mostly uh, benchmarking how the sales IT function of my company was doing in comparison to the sales IT functions of other companies, of other FMCG companies. So the benchmarking was a big part of my project, because of which I was very lucky in this aspect, because I got to interact with salesmen of other FMCG companies as well, and I got to benchmark their sales IT functions. And we decided on a lot of parameters, and I could judge as to what my company is doing right or wrong as compared to the other sales IT functions of other FMCG companies. So it was mostly on ground work, traveling with the salesman. It entailed a lot of travel through the city and even in rural marketplaces. So my day would start at say 9:30 in the morning, and I'd end by maybe 3:34. And through the entire time frame, I would just be visiting retail shops with the salesman. And this sounds a lot of hard work, which it was, but the end result when you get out of it, towards the end of my project, when I was compiling all my data and all my work and putting it out on the PPT towards the last 2 weeks or 15 odd days of my project, the end result was so fruitful that it really justified the hard work that I did on ground for the whole 1 month before that. Just think of corporate as a bigger as a just think of XIMB as a simulated version of a corporate office, wherein the clubs and committees that you're part of, or whatever activities that you're doing, those are the functions inside, those are the particular functions inside a corporate organization. Maybe you're a part of a committee which will again be analogous to a function inside a corporate organization, and there would be other functions in this organization which work in tandem with each other in order to produce the best output and revenues for the company. Same goes for XIMB. So just think of your PR team, or your whatever alumni team, which work in tandem to produce the best results for the for the college, in terms of placements, in terms of um, PR for the college. So just think of it in that way. So even though it is the college is a simulated version of the corporate world, it does differ in a lot of ways, in a lot of sensitivities, in a lot of other aspects as well. But yes, I think uh, as far as my internship went, XIMB did prepare me really well for corporate. So that is something which I'm really thankful to my college for giving me that environment to nurture in that zone, so that I could do better in corporate. So I was working as a mine geologist in Hindustan Zinc Limited in Vedanta. So something that I just done my masters in geology, and post that I was working over there. So something that really helped me is that when I was working there, I had to train and work and supervise a lot of people who were working on ground. So this really helped me in my internship, because again, in my internship, I was working with a lot of people who were working on ground as salesmen. So these salesmen, and prior to that, in my during my previous work ex, the labormen who were working in the mines, they were much elder to me, and they were much more experienced than me in terms of whatever work they were doing. But how you talk to them, how you get the best out of them by talking to them, even though you're maybe half their age, and your experience is literally nothing compared to what they have experienced, although your educational qualifications are much more. So it's mostly people management, and people management, Professor Rajesh Panda says, people management is 60% of your post MBA job life. So if you can master that skill, I think a lot of your work gets done in corporate. So people management was a skill that I really acquired during my previous work pre-MBA, which again helped me during my internship stint, because I had to work on ground with these salesmen who were again qualification wise maybe they're not even done the graduation, but experience wise, practical experience wise, they knew much more than I could ever know. So I learned everything about on ground work from them, and I had to again manage a lot of salesman teams, which I could do because I had that previous work experience. I knew how to talk to them, I knew how to be respectful towards them, I knew where to stop them, where to be friendly with them, and where to not be so friendly with them. And this skill I think I'd acquired beforehand, and that really helped me during my internship.
I knew what I was getting into, because it's sales is mostly around interacting with people, and as I had said before, that I was already in operations, so I knew how to handle people. So the only thing that I might say is factors like how to calculate the margins and such. That was kind of difficult because it was different for different companies. So, which was later on taught in the fourth semester. If we would have had some insights previously, then it would have been okay. Would have been market research skill, which even though the case competitions initially helps you, but it's not that much profound uh, as it should be for a FMCG sector. It's mostly you get things done inside the college by calling people, but the real market research actually happens outside. Initial few weeks of my SIP, it was mostly around going a bit early to be a part of the sales team meetings, where we had to understand what the sales team was doing, what the sales officers were doing, what the ASM had to do, how they gave out tasks to them, how the vendors had to be handled. They were giving all those insights initially. Then afterwards, it kind of gets easy for you because you specifically have to work for particular parts of the city. So you have to go with a sales person to that part of the city to understand how to gain insights, and later on you move to other salespersons, and by 2:30 you'll be set free because like if you even get a good grip of 30 or 40 shops insights, then it would be enough for a day because you are anyway doing a internship for two months, so you'll be having a lot of data by the end of 2 months.
Definitely go read. That's the best thing that you can do. Trust me, that's the best thing that you can do. Doesn't matter how many books you are reading, how many, what your GPA is, what you're doing in your acads. You have to read on what the most recent trends are. Your 7Ps, trust me, your 7Ps won't help you in your work life, or in cracking an FMCG interview. Reading 7Ps, I'm telling you, 25 of the best B schools in India, 300 students in every school, all 10,000 management graduates know the 7Ps and know their SPSS stuff. But what will make you stand out is your knowledge of the most recent trends in the FMCG sector, your knowledge of how the FMCG supply chain works, your knowledge of what the sales IT teams are doing, your knowledge of how incentive schemes are made. These are the things that how distributor ROI is calculated. These are the knowledge tidbits that will help you crack the best FMCG interviews, be it HL, be it PNG, whatever visits campus, even if it's off campus, whatever interviewer trying to set for or aim for. These are the things that will help you. So go on LinkedIn, follow a lot of FMCG companies, follow a lot of CMOs of the best FMCG companies. Trust me, LinkedIn helps a lot as well. Recently, I read this really brilliant article on ROI calculation. ROI calculation is something that every FMCG has been doing since time eternal. So that's something that a management graduate, if a management graduate knows that, the interviewer will really like it, because that's something that the FMCG companies spend lakhs on to train their management graduates. Keep the person knows how ROI is calculated and how he's negotiating ROIs with the distributor. That's a very basic job of a management graduate in an FMCG. So if you know these beforehand, and if you can somehow put it out to the interview that you have these knowledge bases, that the interviewer will really like it. So that's something that you should really look out for. So I can talk about the FMCG sector particularly. There is nothing called a marketing internship that we have a very false notion about it during our first term of MBA per se. It's sales, and even if you're sitting in the office, you're never going to do a marketing strategy for a brand. You're never going to do that. No brand in this whole country will give an intern the responsibility to do a marketing strategy. The market research, sales domain research, go out there and do they won't give you target based numbers, but they will ask you to go out there and benchmark companies. Benchmarking is the most widely distributed project among interns for in the FMCG sector. So please don't have this myth that you as an intern will be doing a marketing strategy for a FMCG brand. You'll be doing market research, you'll be benchmarking companies, you'll be going out there and working for the sales IT team, sales development team. You will be benchmarking incentive schemes of other companies. So these are things that are as important as whatever you call quote unquote market strategies. So it's not all hunky dory. That's something that we have a myth about whenever we think, oh, HUL, even the HUL ULIP program, which is supposed to be the best program in the country. Even there, you go out there even the interns in there go out there in the field, uh, busting their bodies through the day, just to get the sales data for the whole 2 months.
I would advise them to be very observant of their surroundings and to ask each and like every question they have to every stakeholder, because that will help them to gain different viewpoints and help them understand their project and approach it in a better way, including the different viewpoints.
I'll give you 3 points. One would be the people management skill. Second will be confidence, which is a must. The third would be how are you analyzing the data that you are getting from all the vendors? Because per se, if I'm going to a shop and he's complaining about how he's disappointed with your company and he's not giving you good insights, but insights at least required for your project, but he might slip a bit of information about what he is having problem with, which might be helpful, while you're analyzing about the solutions. Because in FMCG, the solutions are mostly interrelated. Anything from travel of the goods to the sales pitch to the margins to everything. Every single thing is kind of very interrelated. So in ways, these three things will be very much helpful.